All right, so today we're going to continue talking about writing equations of lines. And this time we're going to focus on if the information that we're given is a little bit different than what we did last time, right? We're going to talk about if we have, if we're given 2 points, if we know 2 points on a line, how to go about writing the equation of that line. Some things that we're going to have to remember, first of all, is the slope formula, right? Because I would ask you, right, what 2 things do you have to have in order to write the equation of a line? And the answer to that would be a point and a slope, right? So we might have to use slope formula, so because we have to find a slope sometimes. So we want to remember the slope formula, and there it is. Make sure you write that down. We also want to remember, and at the top of your notes, you may not have something to fill in for this, so write this out. The slope-intercept form. Remember, this is called slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, right? So if you need to, stop the video and write that down to make sure you have that. And then the point-slope form, because if we have a point and we have a slope, then we can use the point-slope form, because that just makes too much sense. The point-slope form is this guy, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Just a quick reminder that we do not plug anything in for that y and that x. We do plug in a point and a slope in for x1, y1, and m, right? So make sure you have that written down on your note sheet somewhere. All right. So first things first, a quick reminder on how to find the slope if you have 2 points. And so this one I'll walk you through. Hopefully remember this, right? The slope formula is y minus 1 over x minus x. Remember that in a coordinate, a set of coordinates, in a point, you have an x and a y, and the x is always the first one. So an xy and an xy. So let's subtract your y's. Your y's are negative 2 minus 3 over 1 minus a negative 2, right? So you get negative 5 over 3. So the slope here is negative 5 over 3. Now you can certainly go the other way. If I did negative 2 minus 3, right? Negative 2 minus 3, but you can always go 3 minus a negative 2. But if you do that, then you have to go negative 2 minus 1. And that would give you 5 over negative 3. And so it would be the same. Those two are the same slope. Right? All right. So you do that. Go ahead and find the slope in number 2. You can stop the video, start it back up, make sure you're right. And so did you, see this is xy, this is xy. So we wanted to go, what, 3 minus 0 over 5 minus 0 and get 3 over 5. And that's your slope. Okay? All right. So quick reminder on how to find the slope. Now, what if we come across this? Number 3 says write the equation. The second you see those words, write the equation. That means you stop. And you have to think to yourself, all right, if I'm going to write the equation of a line, which is what we're going to do, we got to have a point and we got to have a slope. Right now, we've got 2 points. So it's one more than what we need, which is great. But what we don't have is the slope. So the slope of this line we're going to have to come up with, but we can use these 2 points to do that, right? We just did it in the previous 2 problems. This is x, this is y, this is x, this is y. Right? So let's go use the slope formula and find the slope. That's how about we go 3 minus 1. If we go 3 minus 1, then we have to go negative 1 minus a negative 3. Make that plus, so we get 2 over 2, or a slope of 1. Right? So now we've got the slope and we've got 2 points, but we only need 1. So just grab one of them. It doesn't matter which one. You can use either one of them and go plug that into your point slope form. Your y minus y equals m times x minus x. Right? So remember that these are, I guess I need to keep writing this, y1 and x1. We're going to plug our point into y1 and x1, not into the plane y and the plane x. So this would look like 1 in for m. I'm going to grab the first point. It doesn't matter. So I'm going to go y minus 3, x minus a negative 1. Okay? Make that a plus because 2 negatives make a positive. And then that's your point slope form. And then we're going to want to take this and get this in slope intercept form. Right? Remember from before, Just got to distribute this. Get x plus 1. Then add 3, add 3. And so we get y equals x plus 4. And that's your slope-intercept form. Okay? If you use the other point, then your point-slope form is going to be different. But no matter what point you use, our slope-intercept forms should be the same. Okay? All right. Let's try a few more examples here. And yours gives you the points -7, 5, -7, comma 3. So we ought to use that. Write the equation. All right, write the equation means I have to have a point and I have to have a slope. So all we got to do now is go, we have 2 points, we just need to go find the slope. So to find the slope here, we're going to go 5 minus 3, and then we have to go -7 minus a -7, which is going to turn into a -7 plus 7. Remember, this is x and y. This is x and y. So we get 2 over 0. 2 divided by 0 is undefined. But now you got to say, wait a minute, how am I supposed to plug in undefined into an equation, right? We did this last time. We talked about this last time, right? With an undefined slope, that means we're going to use VUX, right? VUX, which says as an undefined slope, we're talking about a vertical line, and the equation needs to be x equals wherever it hits the x-axis. It's going to hit the x-axis at wherever the x-coordinate says it's going to hit the x-axis. So our equation here is just x equals -7, and we're done. Okay? We don't have to plug in undefined into our equation. It doesn't make any sense even when we do. Okay? All right. Back to a more reasonable example, right? Number 5. What 2 things do you have to write the equation of a line? Well, you got to have a point and you got to have a slope. We've got 2 points but no slope, so we got to go find a slope. So stop the video, go find the slope first, right? Then start it back up. I'll walk you through it and make sure that we're starting with the same slope. Right? So x comma y here, x comma y here. So I'm going to go 6 minus 2. And that means I have to go -1 minus 3. So I get 4 over -4, which is -1. You and I both should have a slope of -1. Okay? All right. Now that we have a slope and 2 points, we really just need a slope and 1 point, then we got to go plug that into point-slope form. Right? So again, stop the video, plug it into point-slope form, start it back up, and see if you get the same thing I do. Okay, did you get? All right, I went y minus 2 equals -1 times x minus 3. Because I used the first point, if you use the second point, that's fine, but you should get y minus 6 equals -1 times x plus 1, right? All right, now we've got to put this in slope-intercept form. So again, stop the video, work this to where y is by itself, and therefore in slope-intercept form. Start it back up and check your work. All right? So what'd you get? Distribute that -1. Add 2. You get -x plus 5. Okay? Hopefully pretty easy so far. Next one. Looks like this. Go ahead and stop the video. Work this all the way out until you get the equation both in point-slope form and slope-intercept form. And then you can start the video back up, and I'll show you what you should have gotten. All right. Did you get 1/3 for your slope? When you plugged in a point, did you get y plus 2 equals 1/3 times x plus 2? Or did you possibly get y minus 2 equals 1/3 times x minus 10? Because that would be okay as well. Okay? Well, no matter what point you used, you should have gotten y equals 1/3 x minus 4/3, because you are going to have to add or subtract some fractions and do that work on the side, right? So hopefully you got that. If not, then make sure you're coming in to STAR and getting some help, right? All right, last example here for you. We're given a table, right? And we saw this in the last set of notes as well, right? Each of these rows represent a point. This one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And we want to write the equation of a line, right? Well, hold up. Write the equation of a line means that we need a point and a slope. Well, we've got points. We've got 5 points, actually. All we need now is to go find the slope. But let me ask you this. Doesn't matter which 2 points you use to come up with the slope. The answer to that's no, right? The reason why a line is straight is because the slope is the same between all the points. So it doesn't matter which 2 you use. Do you want to use these 2 points then? Heck no. No, I don't either. So make your life a little bit easier, right? And use easier points, right? I'm going to use these 2 right here, the second and the third one, just because my life will get a little bit easier. So I'm going to go -5 minus 1, and then 6 minus a -1. So we get -6 over 7. That's your slope, right? Now, again, doesn't matter what point you use to plug into your point-slope form. The answer is no, it does not matter. So again, make your life easy and choose the point that's going to be the easiest to plug in. How about the one that's -1, 1, since it's got a bunch of 1s in there? Right? That's not y equals anything. So we got to go y minus 1 equals -6 over 7 times x plus 1. And we're done because it didn't ask us to put it in point-slope form. So I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it just like that. Okay? All right, that's it. That's all there is to it. One extra step from last time, just find the slope yourself. All right, homework sitting out in Canvas. Let's go make sure we get that done by next time.